In the shadowy realm of cyberspace, a new battle has erupted, sending shockwaves through the corridors of power in Washington and beyond. The U.S. Treasury, a bastion of financial might and national security, has fallen victim to a sophisticated cyber assault, leaving officials scrambling and tensions with China reaching a fever pitch. As the digital dust settles, a tale of espionage, vulnerability, and geopolitical brinkmanship unfolds, with far-reaching implications for global stability and the future of international relations. The breach, a digital Pearl Harbor? On a seemingly ordinary day in December 2024, alarms blared silently across the U.S. Treasury's cybersecurity systems. Chinese state-sponsored hackers had breached the department's defenses, gaining unauthorized access to employee workstations and a trove of unclassified documents. The intrusion, quickly classified as a major cybersecurity incident by Treasury officials, sent ripples of concern through the highest echelons of government. But how did these digital intruders manage to penetrate one of the most secure institutions in the United States? The answer lies in a vulnerability that has become all too common in our interconnected world. The hackers exploited a weakness in a third-party software service provider, BeyondTrust, using it as a stepping stone to infiltrate the Treasury's systems. This method of attack, known as a supply chain compromise, has become a hallmark of sophisticated state-sponsored cyber operations, particularly those attributed to China. As news of the breach spread, the implications began to crystallize. Gordon Chang, a renowned China expert, emphasized the global ramifications of the hack. Even though the breach involved unclassified documents, it sends shockwaves worldwide due to the Treasury's critical role in global financial systems. Chang noted. The message was clear. If the U.S. Treasury could be compromised, what other pillars of the international order might be at risk? The fingerprints of a digital dragon. As investigators delved deeper into the breach, a familiar pattern emerged. The tactics employed by the hackers bore the hallmarks of Chinese cyber operations, aligning with a broader campaign of digital espionage that has targeted telecommunications companies and government agencies across the Western world throughout 2024. The use of specific cyber tactics, such as DLL sideloading and the deployment of sophisticated exfiltration tools, further pointed to Chinese involvement. These techniques, observed in previous intrusions linked to Chinese state-sponsored groups, painted a picture of a well-coordinated and highly skilled adversary. FBI Director Christopher Wray, known for his candid assessments of cyber threats, didn't mince words. The scale and scope of China's cyber espionage activities surpass those of any other nation, Wray stated, underscoring the gravity of the situation. His words echoed through the halls of Congress, where lawmakers were already gearing up for a robust response. A pattern of digital aggression. The Treasury hack didn't occur in isolation. It was part of a broader tapestry of cyber incidents that have strained U.S.-China relations to the breaking point. The Salt Typhoon cyber espionage campaign, attributed to Chinese actors, had already raised alarms by potentially accessing private texts and phone conversations of countless Americans. Moreover, a damning report by the House Homeland Security Committee had recently highlighted vulnerabilities in U.S. port infrastructure, pointing to the dominance of Chinese companies like Shanghai Zhenhua Heavy Industries, ZPMC, in the maritime sector. The specter of Chinese state-owned enterprises exploiting U.S. maritime equipment and technology loomed large, adding another layer of complexity to an already tense situation. As the pieces of the puzzle came together, a chilling picture emerged. The Treasury hack was not an isolated incident, but part of a coordinated campaign to undermine U.S. cybersecurity and gain access to sensitive information across multiple sectors. The response, from defense to offense. In the wake of the hack, calls for action reverberated through the corridors of power. Rep. John Moulinier, chairman of the House China Select Committee, voiced the frustration felt by many. The Chinese Communist Party has faced no consequences for its relentless espionage activities. It's time for that to change, he declared, urging Congress and the incoming Trump administration to take a more aggressive stance. But it was the incoming National Security Advisor, Representative Mike Waltz, who proposed the most radical shift in strategy. We need to move from a defensive to an offensive cybersecurity posture, Waltz argued. Merely improving our defenses is no longer enough. We must impose real consequences on those who steal our technology and attack our infrastructure. Waltz's words signaled a potential sea change in U.S. cybersecurity policy, one that could dramatically alter the digital landscape and the nature of cyber conflict between nations. The gauntlet had been thrown down, but the question remained: how would China respond? The dragon's denial. As accusations flew and tensions mounted, China's response was swift and predictable. The Chinese Foreign Ministry and embassy representatives dismissed the allegations as baseless and politically motivated, emphasizing China's opposition to all forms of hacking. It was a familiar dance, one that had played out countless times before in the ongoing cyber Cold War between the two superpowers. But this time the stakes seemed higher. The breach of the U.S. Treasury, a symbol of American financial might and global influence, had struck at the heart of U.S. power. The denial from Beijing rang hollow in the face of mounting evidence and a pattern of behavior that pointed squarely at Chinese involvement. The global fallout. As news of the hack reverberated around the world, allies and adversaries alike watched with bated breath. The incident had exposed vulnerabilities in the U.S. cybersecurity apparatus, raising questions about the safety of global financial systems and the stability of international relations in an increasingly digital world. Experts warned of the potential for escalation. This hack could be a turning point in U.S.-China relations. One analyst noted, "The risk of miscalculation is high, and the consequences of a full-blown cyber conflict between the world's two largest economies are almost unimaginable." The incident also highlighted the urgent need for international norms and agreements governing state behavior in cyberspace. As one cybersecurity expert put it, "We're in uncharted territory." The rules of engagement for cyber warfare are still being written, and incidents like this Treasury hack are shaping that process in real time. The road ahead. Navigating the digital minefield. As the dust settles on this latest cyber skirmish, the path forward remains fraught with challenges. The U.S. faces the daunting task of bolstering its cyber defenses while simultaneously developing offensive capabilities to deter future attacks. This delicate balancing act must be performed under the watchful eyes of allies and adversaries alike, each with their own stakes in the outcome. For China, the incident presents both risks and opportunities. While denying involvement, Beijing must navigate the diplomatic fallout and potential economic consequences of being labeled a bad actor in cyberspace. At the same time, the hack demonstrates China's growing cyber capabilities and its willingness to challenge U.S. dominance in the digital domain. As for the global community, the Treasury hack serves as a wake-up call. In an interconnected world, no nation is an island, and the vulnerabilities exposed by this incident have implications for everyone. The need for international cooperation and the establishment of clear rules of engagement in cyberspace has never been more apparent. A new chapter in the digital age. The U.S. Treasury hack of 2024 may well be remembered as a watershed moment in the history of cyber conflict. It has exposed vulnerabilities, challenged assumptions, and pushed the boundaries of international relations in the digital age. As nations grapple with the fallout and seek to chart a course through these turbulent waters, one thing is clear: the rules of the game have changed, and the stakes have never been higher. In this new reality, where keystrokes can have the impact of missile strikes and lines of code can redraw geopolitical lines, vigilance is paramount. The U.S. Treasury hack is not just a story of one nation's vulnerability. It's a harbinger of the challenges that lie ahead for all of us in an increasingly digital world. As we stand on the brink of this new era, the question remains: can we find a way to harness the power of technology without falling victim to its perils? The answer to that question may well determine the course of international relations for generations to come. In the meantime, the digital Cold War rages on, with each side seeking advantage in the shadows of cyberspace and the world watching, waiting to see where the next digital domino will fall.